I fell in love with Lake Michigan when I was in my late 20s, probably. And that was the first time I went up to Sleeping Bear Dunes. That is where my heart lives. So I just have all kinds of memories of being at the beach. And I remember one of my trips there, I went to the same beach several days, and it was like going to 3 different beaches, because one day it was perfectly still, and one day it was really, high wind and waves. And yeah, it's just magical, magical places. I loved working in state government, and I really believe strongly in the importance of public service, the value of public service. So I'm glad that I had that experience. And I worked with a lot of the environmental nonprofits as I was doing policy work. So that was some of my first really great exposure to very talented environmental leaders in Michigan's nonprofit sector.
Well, my working relationship with Lois DeBacker goes back into the 1990s, when the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy was working to acquire a mile of shoreline on Grand Traverse Bay, an undeveloped mile of shoreline. One of the last, most beautiful stretches of shoreline left on the entire 132-mile Grand Traverse Bay coastline. Through Rob Collier, we contacted the Mott Foundation, and the chairman, Bill White, sent Lois up to scope out the project at the property to make sure that this might be a good grant-making opportunity for the foundation. When she got out of the car, the clouds parted, the sun shone over Lake Michigan in the mouth of Andrew Creek, and the rest is history. We've got a $4.5 million grant from the Natural Resources Trust Fund. Mott Foundation optioned it, and thus our relationship with the Mott Foundation and Lois began. Our encore to that project was the Coastal Campaign, which is the project where we purchased 6,000 acres from CMS Energy. It is now one of the finest nature preserves anywhere in the Great Lakes, if not North America.
The Coastal Campaign that the Conservancy undertook was really ambitious. It was years in the development and involved a lot of property. So there was property both east and west of M22. Some of it was farmland, some of it was dune, and then they bundled a whole bunch of other acquisitions into the Coastal Campaign. So it was the Arcadia Dunes property, but it was property north and south as well.
That was a blockbuster. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that ever happened in Michigan environmental philanthropy. And it wouldn't have happened without her. She not only was a supporter, but she was actually a team member with the Conservancy and asking the hard questions that need to be asked about their plans to make this happen and to deliver the result. That would not have happened at all without her, I think.
I remember conversations with Glenn where, he was wanting money for specific projects, and I said, we could do that, but you really need to build your fundraising capacity, your organizational capacity in other ways. And so Mott did grants that supported both of those things with them. And now I think they are absolutely one of the best land conservancies in the country.
When we were talking about the Coastal Campaign, it was such a heavy lift. But, Lois was so concerned about me and the organization. She said, Glenn, I don't want you to put all your energies into saving Arcadia Dunes and letting the rest of the region go to hell in a handbasket. So she made us do a 10-year spreadsheet and raise enough money that we could have a campaign draw for 10 years so that we could continue protecting land in the chain of lakes, on Old Mission, and throughout our service area. And so that we could grow our capacity and use the Coastal Campaign to leverage more across the region. That was Lois's strategic thinking. She was thinking 10 years out.
She had strong environmental values, but she was a listener. She did listen to different points of view, and I think took into account what those points of view would lead to in terms of success. She impressed me as being not just smart, but analytical. She had insights into the way things work that I'd never had. So she was really in the perfect place in philanthropy to put together those skills.
I had the great pleasure of working with Lois for 10 years here at the foundation. Lois was my boss. She hired me in 2014 as a program officer. I was hired on to manage our Climate Resilience and Urban Opportunity Initiative, which was a brand new grant making program.
When I first went there, it was kind of a blank slate to design a program addressing climate change. And it was, from the beginning, we knew that we were going to address both climate change mitigation and adaptation. And that was something that was distinctive at Kresge. But as Kresge as an organization honed its focus to be about creating equity and opportunity in American cities, we really shifted the program in 2014 to have a huge emphasis on climate impacts and as they affect communities of color in cities.
I think about her legacy as really shifting the way in which climate philanthropy really focused on disproportionate impacts of people of color, of low-income communities. At the time when Lois and the Foundation really began to center disproportionate impacts, urban opportunity, at that time climate philanthropy largely was still focusing on funding large organizations, really with a climate mitigation, greenhouse gas reduction lens, which of course is essential and important. And so when I think about all the things that had to happen, and the great skill and time and patience that Lois had to come to that point, and all the things that we've been able to do in terms of not only leading other, climate funders or helping influence other climate funders to think about environmental justice, community-centered work, and centering justice and equity, it has had a huge outsized impact on the field.
For us to win on climate, which we are clearly not doing now, we need to have a climate movement that looks like America. It needs to be diverse, it needs to be inclusive, and it needs to identify climate change as not just a technical issue, which it is, but as a social issue.
Lois, what a career you've had. What an impact on the great state of our pure Michigan. Let's celebrate these successes because it's a legacy that will make future generations proud of our foresight. Thank you.